Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, in the audience and at home. It is March 21st, 7:30 p.m., and we are at our mayor and council meeting. Linda, will you please read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement and call the meeting to order?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. The meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website, published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year, and copies are sent to the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting by the March 11, 2024 Sunshine Notice was sent to the record, the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger, and has been posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and borough website. Councilman Delavatio. Councilwoman Homan. Here. Councilwoman Lovasolo. Here. Councilman O'Connell.
Here.
Councilman O'Toole.
Here.
Councilman Yakarino.
Here.
Mayor Wilzinski.
Here, everybody, please stand to salute the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
You do that quite well.
Next, we have approval of minutes, February 22nd and March 7th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Councilwoman Homan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell.
Yes to the 22nd, abstain for the 7th.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
All right, next we have agenda review. We are introducing an ordinance this evening. This is an ordinance to just amend and clean up our outdoor cafes. Outdoor cafes have become very, very popular since COVID, and this is the first year since COVID that the governor has not lifted all the restrictions. So we just wanted to review it, make sure that it is accommodating to all of our restaurants and make it friendly for residents, as well as help with the commerce with our restaurants. So we just expanded the months a little bit, and we made it open to all of our restaurants. Next, we have our consent agenda. Consent agendas are matters that are considered routine. However, the council works very hard, so there's a lot that I would like to highlight. We are going to bid again to finish up the last phases of our streetscape. So this piece of it is going to go by Finos Restaurant and down Central Ave along the railroad station. It's also going to be going along D. Mercurio Drive. Let's see here. We have revised fees for our Crestwood Cruisers. We are also donating a Crestwood Lake family membership to Allendale's Women's Club, similar to what we do to AFI and the Rotary. So the borough constantly supports all of our nonprofits in town. We have a resolution for our UPCU contract. So we've been working hard on that. So that is our contract with our admin. And we are happy to come to a resolution with that. We also have a resolution calling for the review and the reform of Oprah. This has been in the news lately. It's been controversial. However, we have our point of view is that it is something where we do 100% promote transparent government. However, this Oprah law has been used and abused, and it's a big, big burden on little municipalities like us, and actually quite larger ones as well. Part of the issue is that people use it to solicitate business. So we have people from South Jersey and all over who are getting personal information from our residences. One popular one is they want to know everybody who's had dog licenses so they can promote their business. Another time we actually had to give out our email addresses of our residents who gave us their email addresses so we could give them information through our constant contact. So it's been abused. Also the police department, which we've mentioned lately, where they actually are doing an Oprah for body cams, and they are targeting young women and trying to embarrass them in posting them on YouTube in their most vulnerable, times. So we actually are very much welcoming this reform of Oprah. Okay, so we are also are giving permission for a dedication by rider for the acceptance of donations for the Allendale Mural Project, which I'll talk about a little bit more in my mayor's report. We have authorizing our emergency temporary budget appropriations, what we do every year. We have a new police chaplain, and Peggy, who is, works for Mike, is also going to be a radio police dispatcher. We have our list of bills. Did you have a chance to review that, Councilwoman Lovasolo?
I did.
Okay, excellent. And we also have the change order to finish up the ADA firehouse bathroom, which we're very happy to get that going. And then also very exciting, construct engineering. We have our Crestwood concession stand, and this is to approve the architectural and engineering services for that, which I'm assuming you're gonna talk about in your report. Okay. So with that, I will open the meeting to the public. Do the public have any comments on any of the agenda items? Please come up. Not seeing anybody? We will bring it back and we will go to vote. So we have introduction of ordinance 24-04. Linda, will you please read the opening of the ordinance?
Ordinance 24-04, an ordinance to amend Chapter 185 Outdoor Cafes, Chapter 185-1 entitled Purpose, and Chapter 185-16 entitled Months of Operation of the Code of the Borough of Allendale.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Holman.
Second?
Second, Lovasolo.
Roll call.
The second reading will take place on April 11, 2024. Councilwoman Homan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell,
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole,
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Councilwoman Homan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes, except I abstained from, which one is it right now?
Or what?
The review, the Oprah review, resolution 24-105.
Okay.
Councilman O'Connell,
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole,
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Abstain 24-110, yes on the balance, please.
All righty. Next, we have our administration piece of the meeting and council reports. Councilman Yakarino.
Thank you, Mayor. Semi-lengthy report this evening, but I'll try to be concise and hit all the highlights. As you mentioned, that's on the agenda for approval this evening is the approval for the concession stand phase 2 and 3 with construct engineering. Of course, we've already approved phase 1 and we've really been in the weeds, so to speak, fine-tuning our design, what the needs of the lake are, speaking with the Crestwood Lake staff, working with Andy and the DPW, and then Amy, you and I also going through and trying to figure out how we could best build and construct something that's going to last for the long term. So we've really been very proactive with that, and then creating something that'll be great for all Crestwood Lake members. So with phase 2 and 3, we're going to do some further design tweaks. We're going to work with that and feedback with the county. And also we're going to have a concept review at the April Land Use Board meeting. And then with such finalizing the phase 2 and 3 process, we'll be coming up with bid specs so we can go out to bid. So we're really excited to do that. Ed has been very helpful in going through the design so far, as is everybody else that we've been in contact with. So ultimately, we're very excited about the projects. It's been moving along very nicely. Of course, we'll be without a concession stand this year, but we've been working diligently to provide some other options and alternatives to make sure that we have what we need to get through the season.
I think the kids will be having ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's all right.
We do
That's
have
all right.
options.
They won't sleep. That's
Well, we're thinking a little bit outside the box there. So again, we'll definitely have everything that we need to be open and ready for the season. Monday, we did have a facilities, parks, and recreation meeting, which is attended by myself, the mayor, Ed, and Andy. A very productive meeting. Mainly as we're getting into March here, we're getting ready for spring at Crestwood and the fields and so forth. So looking at rather general maintenance and prep for Crestwood, painting the docks and getting ready to move the lanes and so forth. So we have a lot of prep to do, but that's all moving along thanks to Andy and his team. After the facilities meeting on Monday, we had an ASA meeting. So it was a Monday night full of meetings. A lot of the discussion revolved around, of course, field maintenance planning, revision to some fields perhaps that we're going to discuss to meet the needs of Allendale's team. So there's more to come with that, but ultimately there was a lot of positive discussion about how we could get through the season in terms of getting the fields ready and so forth. And then also for the end of the year, heading into winter, even though we haven't even started the season, about how we can best prepare the fields for years to come. So lots of great conversation around that. Just finishing off two things. As you know, we did have the Motor Vehicle Commission mobile unit here in Allendale at the firehouse. It was extremely well received. Residents were very positive about the event. Other than folks perhaps needing some different forms of identification to get their licenses, overall the process was very smooth. I did speak again with my contact in motor vehicle, and he thanked us for being such a great host. And again, we're going to look to bring them back in September for a couple of days. And finally, Councilwoman Lovasola and I did attend the Northwest Bergen Council Members Association, in which towns represented included Mawa, Ramsey, Allendale, Waldwick, Upper Saddle River, and Ridgewood. And there was a lot of conversation, and it does, you know, being the area that we're in, a lot of the issues that we're facing are all in all pretty much the same. I mean, we talked about some flooding, affordable housing issues, deer, and so forth. I know, Suzanne, you may have more to add, but that was pretty much the highlights, if you will. So I'll yield back my time. If there's any time.
Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mayor. Other than Tyler saying everything, I did get in touch with both Boy Scouts.
Excellent.
We're planning on meeting with Andy tomorrow at DPW at 4 o'clock to discuss their projects, and they can get busy on their fundraising. Dean is under the weather, so I said, don't worry, if you can't make it, we'll schedule for next week when you feel better. So hopefully we get two, but we're definitely going to talk to one of them and get them rolling. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Lovasola.
Our land use committee will be meeting next Thursday morning, with our running agenda, some carryover of old topics. But as we voted on tonight, we were pleased to amend the borough code, and really open up outdoor dining for another 2 months on either side. The old code said that outdoor dining was allowed from April through October. We amended it to be March through November, giving the
There's a lot of nice
opportunity,
days in March.
giving the opportunity, right, for weather permitting, all of our eating establishments to have outdoor dining. The finance committee has been meeting weekly. Budget's looking good. Thank you, Allison, as always. I want to remind everyone, April 27th is our spring cleaning day in Allendale. That is the day, it's also Earth Day, where we have electronics recycling, styrofoam, we have paper shredding, and it's all going to take place this year at Borough Hall. As Councilman Yacarino noted, on Saturday, March 9th, he and I attended that Northwest Bergen Council Members Association meeting. And I have to tell you, like, it's kind of comforting and yet also kind of sad that we all have the same sort of issues. And those issues are the new affordable housing mandates, which are going to come down and really affect all of our little small towns. Flooding issues, and deer. I mean, the deer issue is something we're going to have to address, I think, in a very regional manner. On the 13th, we were all at the beam signing for 210, the community center. That was a lot of fun. On the 15th, I was able to attend our department head meeting, which is something the mayor has started on the last Friday of every month, right? In the mornings. And it's a really great opportunity to meet with everyone because, you know, you think you're communicating well, but when you sit down at a table and start talking through what everyone's doing, it gives an opportunity to really kind of listen to everyone and identify new topics that need addressing.
Yeah,
So
that was a very good meeting.
it was a really good meeting. And on the 18th, Councilwoman Homan and I were able to also join the mayor for a mural project meeting, which I'm sure you'll talk about some more. And this morning, the mayor and I attended a breakfast at the Hope Center for Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, which is this month. And the breakfast was a really nice opportunity to kind of see the facility and see all the great things that they do there. And then we also had our Teamsters meeting this morning. So Very busy 2 weeks. Thank you.
Indeed. Councilwoman Homan.
Hi. Let's see. As far as water goes, it's always fun to talk about water, but we are continuing to move forward. Actually had a wonderful meeting. Andy was there and Mike Vreeland, where we met with Veolia, talking not only about the future, about the permanent PFAS facility that needs to be built, and where that housing, what they're applying through the NJDEP, but also we actually were seeing how they're managing the first change of media for the temporary treatment that they put in, which is really amazing that, you know, they really took over and put in temporary treatment in New Street right away. And already there needs to be a media change just to, you know, ensure that we continue to have those non-detect readings for the PFAS. So for me, it was awesome just to realize how good of a partnership we had in getting the temporary treatment up. And it was nice to be able to meet with them and hear what their planning is for the permanent. So we'll need to keep in constant contact. They are at this point looking at keeping it in the current water building where they have the temporary treatment, which is really ideal to not have to give up any other, to create any more impervious coverage, which really is an important goal. Obviously, water being PFAS free was critical, but if we can avoid having any structures that take up open space, that would be helpful because there is so much water that flows down that way. So that was exciting. And we continue to have the teams meeting. I don't have to be a part of all those meetings, but Ray keeps me updated on the easements and working with Green Acres. And I'm thrilled that Ray gave me the update that they did have a conversation with Green Acres because we have some pipes that are on land that Green Acres has helped purchase. And so those did not have, what is it, official sanctioning. And so in selling the property, this was done years and years and years ago, we now have to work with Green Acres. And really what it comes down to is that we may have to dedicate additional lands, which, you know, we're looking at different options for doing that, perhaps down by the DPW. And hopefully that can work out. Otherwise, there will be a monetary investment that needs to be made by Allendale. And it would be ideal that we actually preserve land, which is what we love to be able to do, as opposed to actually having to expend any money. And then on the sewer, is that good for that update on?
Yeah, that was good.
All right, good. And then on the sewer side, we, again, to continue to have discussions, we've signed the agreement with Saddle River, as everybody's aware, but we still have this, now there is a developer with 275 units in Saddle River. So we, at this point, do not feel we have the capacity to hold that, to take on that quantity of sewage through our existing pipes. So that remains to be seen how that will be worked out. And I got my amazing sewer book. You guys will all be glad. Although it needs to expand a little further. It has all of Allendale, but I need feeders. So that's that.
Excellent.
That's all the sewer talk I got.
Council President O'Toole.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Public Safety Committee met this past Tuesday. I was unavoidably held up at work, but I was able to call in a little bit late, but it was a very productive, good meeting. AVAC Chief Bataro reports that she's been having conversation with the nursing home to make sure that AVAC is being appropriately utilized there. And they've been very busy with their casino night fundraiser coming up on Friday at the Ramsey Country Club. Fire Chief Baez reports that the fire department was awarded a $45,000 grant to purchase a washer and dryer specifically made for turnout gear. It's capable of washing 7 sets at a time, but only drying 5, sort of like the hot dogs and the buns. The ADA bathroom replacement project at the firehouse is underway and moving along well. Demo is ongoing. And the fire department approved 2 new members this past Friday, so we welcome them to the family. We're happy to have them aboard. In that vein, we're setting dates with the chiefs to see how we at the borough level can best assist them with attracting and retaining volunteers. Volunteerism is down everywhere, so finding those special people to hop on an ambulance or a fire truck is taking some outside of the box strategies. On March 11th, the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office gave a presentation of Brookside School eighth graders on the dangers of fentanyl. Laboratory resorts of seized illicit narcotics are showing that over 98% of drugs that have been seized contain some amount of fentanyl. So it is a nationwide epidemic that is ongoing. On the 12th, numerous Allendale police officers teamed up with the Sheriff's Department for directed enforcement of motor vehicle violations in 5 or 6 known areas of concern around town. Day was very successful, not only issuing summonses for violations, but also educating motorists on the dangers of speed violations and aggressive driving. April is National Distracted Driving Month. Distracted driving comes in many forms. Texting and cell phone use is the most prevalent type. So if the chief asks if you're expecting a text or you need to send a text, pull over and stop. Don't engage in social media scrolling while you're driving. And a couple of reminders, the police department will be hosting an FBI outreach class designed for the public to teach you how to react to an active assailant. The mayor's very excited. Taking place on the 26th, next Wednesday. Tuesday?
Wait, it's this Wednesday.
It's
Tuesday,
next
right?
week, yeah. And it's going to be held here in council chambers from 7 to 9. And finally, I say at every meeting, the blood drive, the Gary Letizia Memorial Blood Drive will be taking place next Thursday at the Firehouse from 1 to 7. So far, we have 35 donors registered. We have space for 60, but our goal was 28, so we're doing all right.
Do we have to pre-register?
Negative. You can walk right in, roll up your sleeve, and they'll get you. That's all I got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, staff reports. Our CFO/BA Allison Altano. Do you have
Okay.
anything to report for us?
To make it as minimal as possible, we've been working very hard on numerous projects, from the mural to contract negotiations. We've made some internal changes within borough, with the personnel to provide additional administrative help to the DPW to assist our new superintendent. We've made a lot of progress with our kitchen, which will hopefully be completed within the first week of April. Thank you to everyone involved. It's been quite eventful. Within the finance department, our tax collector will be executing a new feature to our online payments soon to allow for auto pay for tax payments. More information on this new feature will be going out in our March newsletter to let all the residents know how and when this is going to be available. It's a new feature that Edmunds, which is our software, is going to be allowing residents to use. Lastly, our annual audit will be starting next week. And we've also made a lot of progress on the 2024 budget, which I am hoping to have introduced on April 11th. And that is all.
All righty. Linda Servino, our clerk, do you have a report?
Just short, just a reminder, compost permits can be purchased online through our website for Allendale residents only. The compost site opens April 6th through December 7th, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Wednesdays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And that's it.
Thank you very much. DPW Supervisor Andy Agugliera.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to first of all, thank Dan Richards for his 18 years with the DPW. His last day was last Friday. He was a great asset to the borough. He'll definitely be missed and maintain all our borough vehicles. So this month, we've been fixing a lot of potholes throughout town. We've had a lot of complaints about that, but we've been tackling them very fast. We're preparing for the new concession stand, like Tyler said earlier. We've also been preparing all the ball fields for the 2024 sports season, along with Crestwood Lake. We've been preparing for a compost opening, and just talking about the compost hours. And lastly, in the near future, we'll be hiring a DPW laborer. Anybody's interested, there's applications on the borough website, or you can drop off your resume at the county.
Excellent. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Borough Attorney Ray West.
A lot of the things that we've been involved with were mentioned in council committee reports, but I'll just briefly review our involvement. Some of the agreements relating to the mural project, ordinance revisions, the outdoor dining one, which was on this evening's agenda. As was mentioned, the MOU with the white collar unit was approved by resolution this evening. The contract has already been submitted to the union for their review, so hopefully at the next meeting we'll actually have contract approval. We did have negotiations with the DPW earlier today with their union. I will say no more of that. Hopefully the AVAC lease is progressing through channels and is in their attorney. But I think from the borough's vantage point, the draft is now done, subject to their
Yes.
comments. Involvement with one of our affordable housing units. The owner had died and the unit was in foreclosure, so we had quite an involvement over the last couple of weeks trying to sort through that process. Likewise, with the May 31st expiration of the existing cell tower lease, there's been quite a bit of time spent on cell towers, and we had the presentation here, I guess the meeting before last, about future opportunities there. As Councilwoman Holman mentioned, we're in I think a very formative stage in trying to conclude certain things on the sale of the utility. In particular, we did receive from Viola's attorney the list of easements that need to be recorded, a little bit of historical problems when the borough was both the owner and also the water utility. So, going back decades, some of the agreements weren't done. We last week sent to them our response to their list, so that's getting fine-tuned. And we did have a rather lengthy conversation, Mike Breland and I, today with the Green Acres representative on the easements that Councilwoman Holman mentioned. And I think we have a game plan. And now it's up to us to meet with Andy and with Mike and sort of come up with a game plan in terms of the property that will be offered. Had a discussion yesterday with Mike, and he's been in touch with Larry, our land use board attorney, with respect to the Saddle River issue, and our ability to have the capacity, and then also what it might mean to us in terms of future usage and obsolescence of the system, if anyone were to use it. And we do have to keep in mind in that same context that 2025 is our next year on affordable housing, and if there is development in the community as a result of that, obviously we want to prioritize our own needs before we look across the border to accommodate a neighbor. And I have been in court a couple times on the PK litigation, which is still going on, which has been a little bit of a saga in and of itself because of a dispute between the principals of PK and their own insurance company. But hopefully that's getting straightened out. And I guess lastly, I learned that the kitchen doesn't have a stove.
Oh.
This is news to me. I'm not updated on
We're
that.
not allowed to have a
been a long
stove
day.
because it's too much construction and we don't need a stove. Nobody's cooking at Borough Hall. All right. As I always say, there's a lot going on in a little town. So in addition to everything everybody said, I'm going to emphasize on a few things, but I'm not going to repeat everything. And one of the things I want to emphasize on is this deal signing for 210.
Yeah.
It was very, very exciting. It was such a long time coming. Actually Ray's the one that's been really on it the whole entire time with me from the very beginning to the end. And then everybody else had very integral parts. Councilwoman Holman was a huge part of it going through. And then, of course, Mayor Emeritus Barra and White from the very beginning. And then the rest of the council with all the support. So it was really very, I'm going to say emotional, but it was exciting. And it's going to be such a wonderful thing for the community. I mean, it's just going to be such a great space that we just have never had before. So we're just very lucky. And, it was really good planning. We bought that property because we did not want it developed into 350 units. And we have it, and we developed it the way that we wanted to develop it. We had to put some of our fair share housing. I know some people aren't happy with the 70 units, but compared to what it could be and what we're getting out of it as a community center. So that was all part of the negotiation, a lot of up and down. So it's really exciting to be where we are here. And every time you go by, it looks different. So they are really coming along nicely. We've talked about the fair share housing. This is going to be the bane of our existence in 2025. I had a meeting with the New Jersey mayors. I wrote to the governor. I wrote to every single state senator opposing the new conditions of the reform that actually did wind up getting passed. Our numbers are going to be 15% higher than last time. Our numbers were unattainable last time. Everybody is having an issue, and we're talking about all the flooding issues, and we're talking about all the traffic issues, and we're talking about the deer issues. Well, if you kind of look from the bird's eye view, they all kind of all are intertwined. So you can't say that, oh, we have to, we have flooding issues. What are we going to do about it? And then you have the governor saying we have to pretty much keep on building in New Jersey because there's not enough housing. So they really want every single piece of land that is open space zoned for multifamily housing, and then if you don't have it, they want you to build up. So they really want to make suburban towns look like cities. There's absolutely an affordable crisis in New Jersey, but this is not going to help it. This is my rant that I'll probably feel here for the next couple of years. But it's something that it's not a partisan issue. It's something that we all really have to worry about, because it is a problem. There is no consideration for the schools, for the police, for the environment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it is something that we're all going to be dealing with in the next couple of years when those numbers come down. But we have heard that the numbers are 15% higher. So I don't know what we're going to do. I really, really don't. I mean, I'm trying to think outside the box, but it's going to be a challenge for sure. For sure. Okay. So, we've met with a lot of community organizations to talk about the mural and to talk about everything about the borough in general. So we've met with the chambers, the Women's Club, Girl Scouts, Board of Ed. So it's been really nice kind of making the tour around town. The mural, as we've been talking about, is a community project that is, we're bringing together community art and history, and we're working with local artists to bring our mural back to life. We also met Armed Forces Day. We're actually going to have on the June 13 Mayor and Council meeting is going to be our Armed Forces Day this year. Linda, take note. So we had our first meeting about that. So we're trying to talk about how to bring all the families together. It's such a wonderful thing. I think we found over, 20-something families in our town alone that have active people serving in the military. So not only is this honoring those people, but we're also going to have these connections and bring them together where they can, meet each other, support each other if they need it. So like we did last year, we'll have a nice little ceremony after, and it'll be, we'll honor all the new people going in as well as ones that are in there still. You mentioned the Hope Christian Breakfast, which is a wonderful special needs community. Thank you to the budget committee, the finance committee, and Allison. Our budget is looking nice, thanks to all the hard work. So I really do appreciate all the hard work that we've been plowing along in that department. The 27th, we have our first town hall. So in an effort to increase transparency among the borough, we are going to have 4 town halls and probably more, meet with coffee, mayor and council coffee, Coppin, the mayor and council and coffee, because most people don't like to come to these meetings, let's face it. So we are going to have it here.
Present company.
Being here.
But most people. So we're going to have it, we're not going to be up on the dais. We're going to be out on the floor. It's in the paper so we can have a quorum, and we're just going to talk to residents. So we're going to actually, the first one, we are going to let everybody know what our 2024 goals and strategy are for the borough in each of our departments and the borough as a whole. And we want to get the community's feedback. And then the 4 subsequent meetings, we actually put a QR code out there for residents to let us know what you want to hear. So we already actually had a ton of feedback. So those agendas are going to be crafted for what the needs of the community are. And it's going to be just open discussions. And I think it's going to be a good way to really connect with the community. So we're really looking forward to that. And then lastly, I just also want to relay my sentiments to Dan Richards. He was a very valuable employee for many years in the borough, and we wish him luck in his future endeavors. So with that, any unfinished business? Any new business? I'd like to open the meeting up to the public on any matters. Anybody from the public wishing to speak? Nope, not seeing. Oh, Walter, come on up, Walter.
Number one, I'd like to thank Walter Whitman, 30th Hamilton. Thank you ever so much for this booklet. What purpose it'll serve, I don't know. I'm always willing to learn. You mentioned, young lady, the cleanup day. What day is that?
April 27th, it's a Saturday,
April 27?
and it's,
That's number 2. Where?
at Borough Hall. And
Here?
Outside
in the parking lot, and I think
Maybe
it's
bring the junk here?
to the part, not to this room.
No, I meant,
outside.
I
Sorry,
that's
you're
stupid.
pointing. Don't
They
plug it up the
actually
stairs,
have,
Walter.
so this is our third year, I believe, of doing it. And they have cones set up. And actually, we have one of our CERT volunteers here who helps on that day. And they set up cones and they take you, depending on if you want to go to the paper shredding, where your car should go and park.
So do you have to take laps if you want to go to?
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is, number two, with regard to the cleanup, chemicals also included? You know,
Old paint cans. things like
Yeah,
that.
I don't think so. No, I don't think like paint
Hazardous,
cans and
yeah.
stuff, I don't think there's any hazardous
so
waste.
some of the restricted cleanup.
Yeah,
Is it online? What's
yeah,
uh,
there should be a flyer,
Going up.
if it's not, yeah, there's a flyer going out soon, and it's also, is it showing right now? And it lists under each category what is allowable.
Is Mark involved with that? cleanup?
Savasano, yeah.
He
Mark is head of our green team,
And you mentioned the green team. Do you know when they meet?
It's usually the first Tuesday of every month in the evening. And it's via Zoom, so if you want to be linked in, let Mark know. I can let him
Yeah,
know.
I volunteered to work with him, and he's never contacted me.
Oh, all right, I will
Hmm.
pass that on.
She'll follow up.
Well, I can call him. I have his number. So I'll find out what's going on with that.
I'll
thing.
back you up on that, Walter.
There are a lot more questions, but I can hold them. They'll come.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Walter. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
so moved?
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.